Congress is on break. The legislative branch is on break, so they're back in their districts pretty much full time if they're a good congressperson, and they're hosting town halls. And with that comes libs screaming their heads off. I asked producer Glenn to double, triple, quadruple, double check that this picture wasn't AI. But it is. This is from Congressman Mike Flood's town hall, in which he said some incredibly reasonable things that people still booed for, and some very unreasonable things that they cheered for, which probably mostly came from this lady, or sorry, this, they, them. I'm not sure what she is or identifies as. But the question surrounding this is, should people still be holding town halls, congressional members specifically, especially considering that there are people on the conservative side that said libs coming to these things and wrecking them with their just outlandish, absurd distractions makes them completely ineffective. Well, that's the direction coming from the heads at the conservative movement on a lot of different congressional fronts. But some conservatives are also saying, no, we're going to still have them. So the question is posed, should conservatives continue to have town halls, especially with this disruptions like this? Let's bring in our panel to weigh in here. Chris Hand is the host of the Chris Hand Show, and primetime Alex Stein 99 over at The Blaze. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, before we get to you, I want to get to this viral clip that happened over the weekend of this town hall in which Mike Flood, congressman, proposed a thoroughly reasonable legislation, or at least should be, and was, well, not booed because they were cheering the opposite of what he was saying. But just watch the clip and we'll get your reaction.
It talks about two big changes to the Medicaid program. One of those changes is that if you are able to work and you are able-bodied, you have to work. If you choose not to work, you do not get free health care. You do not get free health care. Okay. So here's a question. Do you think that people who are 28 years old that can work and refuse to work should get free health care?
All right, that's enough of that. Chris, I'm going to open the floor to you. What are your thoughts on whether or not we should still be doing town halls? Because even when they weren't booing or cheering, they're just yelling, chirping in the background, making as much of a distraction as they can.
Well, first, I just want to address the picture that you showed in the beginning of the segment. That woman clearly identifies as an orca. We like to call them land whales. And she's definitely going to need free health insurance because the diabetes and the clogged arteries are coming very, very fast. And I feel for her. I do. I also don't want to pay for it. Should they continue doing these town halls? Yeah, they should. They absolutely should. We know that the left is funding these radical leftist lunatics, or they're ramping them up with the rhetoric. But you should be ready. You should be ready for these losers. How about if you love Trump, keep yelling. You know, say something dumb and get these idiots to shut up. Go in with a plan and keep doing the town halls. I think that you should. Yeah.
I'm excited for this one. Alex, as a guy who goes in, and I wouldn't necessarily even say disrupts, but proves very eloquent points in somewhat of a humorous way. What are your thoughts here on the future of town halls?
Well, I try not to disrupt it so much so that I get arrested, and I guess that's a little different than what these people are doing. But, you know, obviously they should continue to keep doing these town halls, and no disrespect to Representative Flood, but, you know, half these politicians, even the ones on Capitol Hill that get elected to Congress, you can't really pick them out of a lineup. So what this guy did, you know, accidentally, is he went viral because these protesters went there. So more of these politicians, what they should do is, if they're really playing 5D chess, is you hire the protesters yourself to go and disrupt it, because that is what makes it interesting. No, seriously, because you go to these meetings and they're so boring half the time. You know, and this is a weird thing, but what people don't realize in life, you need life to be hard. You need some resistance in order to, you know, to actually, you know, succeed. In order to gain any sort of really success, you need a little friction. So that's why we're watching this. So honestly, they should pay the protesters to come. That friction makes it more entertaining and makes it go viral. I'm dead serious.
Keep them on their toes, and creates viral content. That's a pretty interesting point. I wonder if anybody will take that up.